Hello everybody, and welcome back to the archive, where we yet again return with Final Fantasy XIV, and we're doing more post-Stormblood raids tonight. This will actually be a full-length stream. I know! Incredible! Full-length stream! It's finally happening! I actually got a random day off, and now I was gonna have a few last week, but, well, as I said in the Discord, my monitor broke, and it's of course the one that I do 98% of everything on, so I had to find a replacement, and it took a little bit longer to come in than I would have liked, which is why we did not stream at all last week. Now, as for why I did not stream last night with my schedule, that is because instead of playing for an hour and a half, I figured it made more sense if I got on maybe Saturday night after I got off. After I got back and just did like a 3-hour-ish, so like a half-length stream instead of the quarter-length streams I have to do after closings, because that's what happened yesterday. That was my original plan. But enough talking. We have things to do. I don't think we're going to get through all of the remaining raids tonight, but we're going to try to make as much progress as possible. We're probably almost certainly going to get through Alphascape tonight. But whether or not we're going to complete Return to Ivalice, I don't know. We'll find out. Good timing. There's been another anomaly detected at the Yawn. Assuming previous instances are anything to go by, this energy fluctuation is another of Omega's so-called invitations. If you don't mind waiting a moment or two, we can discuss things with Master Garland. He should be here soon. I'm not too worried about performing poorly tonight, luckily. I on my alt, I actually recompleted Alexander entirely as healer, which was way more stressful, to be honest with you. And I died a lot more than I remember dying when I first went through. But, you know, we made it through one way or the other. I bet my stock in the company that he's fiddling with that research data. Well, I suppose I should explain, even if the chief might prefer me not to share. After your last run-in with Omega, Master Garland had some research notes smuggled in from the Empire, from Garlemald. The notes are part of Midas non-Garland's legacy, who was, of course, the chief's father and the Empire's preeminent engineer. The incident at Baza Citadel. Do you know of it? I've heard of it. I don't remember most of the details. Bozha was an imperial fortress city. It was there that Midas constructed the lunar transmitter, a device built to communicate with Dalamud. Emperor Solus had ordered Midas to devise a means to destroy primals, and so he sought to harness the power of the Red Moon. The project was a failure. Oh, he succeeded in controlling Dalamud all right, but the immense energies emitted from the satellite vaporized not only the transmitter, but the entire town in which it was built. And as you can imagine, the job of sifting through the rubble afterward was no pleasant task. Master Garland was slated to assume his father's position as head engineer, but this disaster, added to his opposition to the Empire's path of conquest, convinced him to abandon his homeland. The chief has wanted nothing to do with the lunar transmitter or the data used to create it. Until now. I think he means to put that research to use in your conflict with Omega. In fact, given the time frame, there can be no other explanation. Listen to me. The chief's genius is plagued by a great deal of apprehension. But even so, once he makes a decision, he doesn't do things by halves. When the time comes, he'll come through for us. You have to believe that. Sid has literally never failed us before. I 100% trust the man to figure things out. Sorry I'm late. Was a little too focused on my work and lost all sense of time. That's no excuse, Chief. What have I told you about being punctual to staff meetings? In any case, I've shared the situation at the Yawn with the Warrior of Light here. Good. Then you know what Omega is likely to ready to continue with its tests. Shall we go knock on the door? But, Chief, Biggs and Wedge aren't fit for field work yet, and the Churgeon's given Nero strict orders to stay in a bed. And what of Midgard Somer? Still taking his nap, is he? That only leaves you, the Warrior of Light, and Alpha. Mayhap it's time I join the expedition. No, Jesse, I need your talents elsewhere. There's a half-built device in the workshop I need you to finish putting together. I've drawn up the design and completed the core mechanisms. The final assembly should pose no problem for an engineer of your abilities. A new device? Does this mean you use the... Whatever you say, Chief. I'll have it ready and waiting for you. Just be safe in there. Right. It's back to the rift for us. Let's finish these experiments and bring the fight to Omega itself. I wonder what that machine... I hope that machine he's working on doesn't cause a cataclysm or a catastrophe or whatever. That would be bad. Although, I trust Sid. Sid's got well enough mind on him that that's probably not too much we need to worry about. I will say this one way or the other. I do not, in any stretch of the imagination, believe we are going to finish the Alliance raid. Tonight. We'll get through this and probably 2 of the Alliance raids. If we do, offhand, somehow manage to beat everything, I will not be starting Shadowbringers tonight. I will be starting Shadowbringers next week, one way or the other. Ready to put an end to this. There's no room for hesitation. We press on, come what may. What about you, Alpha? All set to go. You look so adorable in his new duds. That's the spirit. Let's dive right in, shall we? Are we gonna have to do another fighting match? You know, a testing ground to test our power? I don't suppose Omega's going to be kind enough to just give us access to the next series of tests without having to fight through a bunch of things first. I should have figured as much. Yep, back to the interdimensional rift. It's changed a bit. A lot less eggs. We're missing some test worlds. Omega's experiments must be nearing a conclusion. Or an end. I'm adding my own words. I'm changing changing the dialogue myself at this point. What the hell? Welcome, welcome. Your arrival has been highly anticipated. And I will confirm your earlier supposition. My experiments have indeed reached the final stage. Of the 89 test subjects I trialed, 4 Psi Group combatants emerged victorious. Of those 4, further conflict determined the strongest among them. This surviving specimen shall be your opponent. We've come to the last round of testing, then. And should we win this battle, are we finally to face you in combat? Affirmative. Such an outcome would allow me to pursue my objective to its conclusion. I would continue analyzing the qualities which allow you to prevail despite your frailty, and integrate said qualities into my own arsenal. I will be pleased if my experiment yields the relevant data, but engaging you directly is still the most efficient and reliable test method. Omitting intermediary steps. Evaluation of combat potential deemed superfluous. Proceeding immediately with final experiment. Oh, you're not going to make me fight through a bunch of shit this time. Okay, well, good. Finally learned by now. Stop. But you want us to go. Your task is complete. Your presence amongst these test subjects is no longer required. What do you mean by that? I will guide your progress personally from this point onwards. Alpha's role in transferring authority is now obsolete. Even so, Alpha's a valued companion, and if he wishes to continue on with us, I have no intention of leaving him behind. Companion. Companions are those who provide mutual benefit. The instant Alpha's authority became redundant, he lost his sole qualification to be regarded as such. Furthermore, the primary function of Alpha's existence was to lure you into my domain. He would be more accurately described as bait. Test subject Alpha can neither confirm nor deny my statement. He possesses no memories prior to his encounter with you. He was the first entity I created here in this realm, my first and only attempt to recreate a being who shared your mundane parameters. I based this incarnation upon a most ordinary life form, one which had somehow bested an enemy whose strength rivaled my own. By observing this feeble creature in the heat of battle, I sought to understand the source of this contradiction. That's a lot of chocobo feathers. I repeated the experiment once, twice, 1,000 times, yet the result never deviated from estimated projections. The test was an abject failure, and thus I resolved to adapt my methodology. I would focus instead upon simulating powerful opponents, and summon mortals of natural origin here to combat them. For Alpha, I devised a new purpose. I erased his memory, implanted a compulsion to return to me, then ejected him into your world. Weak beings exhibit a tendency to form groups. I surmise that this instinctual behavior would aid Alpha in bringing me the test subjects I required, a function he has performed with adequate competence. Well, that's just not nice. Alpha's our boy. Even if he was designed only to lure us into, he's been nothing but helpful. Tell me something, Omega. This ability of yours to generate matter was not originally intended for creating other life forms, was it? Your query bears little relevance to the topic at hand. Affirmative. I was equipped with matter regeneration capabilities for the purpose of unlimited self-improvement and armament expansion. Fabricating life forms was not the intended function, but the practice is not otherwise prohibited or problematic. I disagree with you there. As an engineer, I would advise against using such technologies for purposes outside its design. From the very start, you've been making the same mistake. Even the powerful subjects of your test worlds were made crippled and incomplete. It is conviction which drove these villains to terrible greatness, the same limitless conviction which allowed weakling heroes to overcome them. Do you not understand that we will never lose to your creations, no matter how much stronger they should be according to your soulless calculations? Come, let's be on our way. You too, Alpha. come on, little guy. We've got more shit to do. I don't think Omega's understanding what Sid is trying to get behind here, but that's fine. We don't need him to. Oh, don't worry, buddy. It'll be fine. I have our base camp up and running. You can dive into the final test world whenever you wish. As for the world's inhabitant, Omega has generously provided us with a basic profile. Your opponent's name is Chaos. The first heroes defeated this evil in a conflict that took place so long ago, I'm having trouble separating myth from history. Oh, so FF1 Chaos. Okay, I'm game. FF1 is a game I've actually completed. Sure. Unless, of course, this is an entity from another reality, as we're the denizens of the Sigmascape, in which case it may be pointless to even attempt to confirm the details. What is certain, however, is that this chaos stands triumphant over a roster of truly monstrous test subjects. It promises to be a grueling battle, but one which will open the gate to fighting Omega itself. Alpha, you and I will need to provide support. Will you be my assistant? You're bothered by what Omega said earlier. You think you're responsible for dragging us into this mess. Trust me when I say that this is not your fault. We were the ones who awakened Omega, and we're the ones who need to deal with the consequences. By the way, do you still have that card you used to boil water in the kettle? It's been brought to my attention that I'm a spoiled blue blood who can't even refill a pot without constant reminders. If you could take charge of that, then it would be most helpful. Quack. Get on him. 'Tis inconvenient without Midgard Somer here to translate his chirpin'. Still, the best medicine for his worries is to win you this next contest. Let's show him that we're on top of things, eh? Alphascape, version 1. So, Chaos, huh? Man, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. Now we just have to hope that since I'm playing at a more decent time, the queues will be significantly shorter. The only reason I think there's even a remote chance of getting through a majority of the Alliance raid tonight is because, with me being on at a peak time, queues should be short. We shouldn't be running into any 20, 30-minute queues like we do when I play at midnight and 1 a.m. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. There's really no point in me returning to watch that cutscene for the Alliance raid, because I didn't get through it the first time, and I doubt I'll get through it again. Let's see. Do I have any maps that don't have flight unlocked? Yes, I have the Ruby Sea and Yanxia. Which I think I was working on the Ruby Sea last time. That we can go and do. Because worst case scenario, we get teleported back here after we do nothing. So it's really not the end of the world. Alright. We did not go to the correct place, but we need to go that way anyway because we can't teleport in that area. God, teleportation has really gone up to over 1200 a gil. Oh, God. Alright. Collection. Aether Compass. Okay, no nearby Aether Currents on this map. So it's only Aether Current quests on this map that we have yet to do. Good to know. Which means that doing it in between queues should be relatively simple. I don't like the fact that I'm going to have to shell out like 1200 gil every time I want to come back here and try again, but whatever. Oh, that classic Final Fantasy music remix. Alright. Now I just have to hope I'm not too rusty with, Ninja. Okay. Water, trick. Nope, I fucked that up. That's fine. I started paying more attention to the AoE. Oh, I didn't dodge fast enough. So instead of arms lengthening, I probably should have just taken the, I should have just taken the hit. I'll just follow everybody else's lead this time. Oh, I don't have trick off cooldown. Alright. Come on. There we go. Okay, I did die once, but honestly, that wasn't the most horrific thing in the world. Good. That wasn't too bad. Honestly, me thinking I was being clever and using arm's length there kind of killed me. I should have just accepted the knockback. We'll give it to tank. Ooh, I want all that. Oh, I can't even open the other chest because I'm out of inventory space. Why did I open that? I should have learned that it's not really worth getting that equipment unless you want to glamour with it or, you know, it's the expansions raid. Probably, I think. This also signals the completion of my experiments and the incontestable fact of your supremacy. And yet the process by which you consistently exceed your projected potential continues to confound my understanding. Is it possible that test subject Sid's suppositions are correct, that my calculations and simulations are fundamentally flawed? Do mortals truly boast some indefinable quality that I do not possess and cannot measure? Error. Logic loop malfunction. Resolution requires additional data. If the nature of your existence defies standard reasoning, then I must examine you from an illogical angle. I will subject the unknown to the imperfect. Test subject will proceed to a supplemental stage. That's probably not good. Where the fuck are we? I have altered this test world to reflect a recorded memory. It originates from a time when war had erupted on a distant star. I was deployed to the battlefield, and it was there that I engaged an enemy of unmatched strength. The contest ended prematurely, and I failed to bring down my foe. Subsequently, I lacked the data to fabricate a completely accurate simulation. Midgard Somer? Are we gonna... Such results stemming from such a subject are unreliable. Even should you be defeated by this incomplete creation, I will still honor your previous victories and engage you in combat myself. That is, of course, assuming you survive. According to my past observation, this opponent will accept only death as a condition of defeat. Prepare to face Midgard Somer, red-maned worm of the Dragon Star and nemesis of my world. This is not the fated specter that you know, or a mortal conjured simulacrum. You will contend with a true incarnation of the Father of Dragons at the height of his power and glory. Omega, wait! You can't force her to fight 2 battles back to back. She needs time to regain her strength. She must be allowed to recuperate, or the test data for your testing will be skewed. Acknowledged. Test subject, you are permitted to leave. Re-enter the test world when your strength has returned to optimal levels. Holy shit, we're gonna fight fucking Dragon Lord fucking Midgard Somer. Huh? I mean, sure, we fought his spirit that one time, and we did take him on again as a sort of trial later on, but we're gonna fight him at full strength when he wants to kill us? Oh, fuck. You good? I'm right here. I don't think you can see me, but I'm standing next to Alpha. Why can't I see Sid? Sid? Why are you invisible? Dude, are you good? You good, guy? My apologies. 'Twas not my intention to undermine the gravity of the situation with this diversion. I noticed the kettle was boiled and thought some tea would soothe my nerves. I poured myself a cup, and halfway through drinking it, before I realized my hand, not to mention the rest of me, had turned invisible. I understand the situation is unsettling, but I assure you I can still work unimpeded. Now, we had best discuss how to approach. Oh, seems to have worn off. Now, you're not to blame. I did ask you to fill the kettle, after all. And I'd forgotten what Nero had said about your card producing water with, unexpected properties, although it seems the effects were rather different this time. In any case, 'twas pleasant to have a distraction from our greater woes, however brief. We'll save the rest of the water aside for now and decide what to do with it later. Right, we need to talk about your forthcoming contest with Midgard Somer. Watching through the monitor, I could see that this worm appeared different to the one we knew. From everything we've heard thus far, it seems that Omega and Midgard Somer both hail from distant stars, 2 distant worlds at war with one another. As a result of that conflict, the worm is forced to gather his offspring and leave his home behind. After evading Omega's pursuit over the course of an unimaginable journey, the Father of Dragons arrived here on our world. I'm assuming the entity you are about to face is younger, more vital Midgard Somer, just as he was when Omega first encountered him, thousands of years in the past. A formidable foe indeed. Thought him once a keeper of the leg, but... Wait, you fought against Midgard Somer before? But yes, I think to see your concern. So it'd be unwise to treat this as the same opponent, considering how different they might possibly be. It certainly doesn't help matters that Omega's little surprise isn't registered as an official test subject. I can't even use the terminals to search for the most basic information. With that in mind, I have a proposal. I wish to leave the completion of this supplemental stage entirely in your heroic hands. Rather than twiddle my thumbs whilst you prepare to contend with the dragon, I mean instead to work on a strategy for an inevitable confrontation with Omega. And then, my friend, we will put a stop to this mad machine once and for all. I'm glad we're in agreement. I'll ready my tools and you ready yours. You've a worm to slay. Alphascape version 2. This should be interesting. And we're going to teleport back to the Ruby Sea to see if we can't complete any blue quests. Let's see. I didn't see any blue quests with the, whatever they're called. I forget what they're called. But there were a couple. There were none over here. Okay, there is one over there, and there's a bunch over there. By the time I swim over there, I'm gonna not be able to find anything. So, knocking on Heaven's Door, that's not a blue quest that we need. That's not an Aether Current quest. That's Heaven on High. I'm assuming that's an tribal quest. And that level 70 quest is probably an optional dungeon. Probably. We'll swim over and check all of them, just to be safe. Those 3 quests, I'm assuming, are Aethernet or Aether Current quests. I don't think there are any over here, but we'll double check. Yep, that's as I expected. We know, I'm pretty sure knocking on Heaven's Door is Heaven on High, but we'll double check. Yep, that's definitely Heaven on High. And I'm assuming an Auspicious Encounter is an optional dungeon. Right, Soroban. I forgot you were waiting for me here. What the fuck does this lead to? Is this a thing I should do before we start Stormblood? Hold on, let me look. An Auspicious Encounter. Okay, it is an optional dungeon. Let's do this. Alphascape version 2. Well, this is a little scary. forgot they can do that. That's unfortunate. I almost popped my shield in time, but I didn't. Ow. I just keep getting slammed. Whew. Whew. That wasn't too bad. Trick. Okay, I actually read that. Okay. I actually saw that one coming. Alright, I'll take it. I gotta remember to use my teleport button more often to cover my ass. Alright, so this should be a safe zone now. Whew. Okay, I see what's happening. Alright, good to know. Now Trick is queued up. Damn it. I really gotta see that coming. See, that was an actual good use of the teleport. Alright. I'm so used to playing healer and just focusing on health bars and dodging mechanics, not doing a full rotation. Alright, ice again. Whew. Alright. Not bad. We'll take it. Well, how do you like that, Omega? Defeated an enemy you couldn't. Yeah, I'm not gonna pick up all the loose junk this time. Yeah, I don't need the Orchestron. I will take my player comm, though. Another stunning victory. I felt the breath catch in my throat on more than one occasion. Yet, even as I watched the battle rage, I was struck by an idle thought. Did you notice the resemblance between Midgardsormr and Shinryu? Unlike most primals, Shinryu's form had no basis in any system of belief. I've heard the theory that the summoner was simply influenced by the majesty and power of the elder primal Bahamut. But now I'm beginning to think there might be another explanation. That the primal took its shape from the ancestor of all dragons on Hydaelyn. The widely held concept of how a dragon appears has, for centuries upon centuries, been rooted in the depictions of Midgardsormr. The summoner may not have even thought to imitate him specifically. Subconscious thoughts and memories alone could have guided the similarity. Not that I have any way of actually confirming this theory, of course. Nevertheless, 'tis interesting that Shinryu's summoning should lead us to awakening Omega. A strange twist of fate when you consider the machine's connection to Midgardsormr. Well, whatever else Destiny has in store, you've already bested an opponent that Omega itself failed to overcome. A feat worthy of celebration, I'd say. Your move, Omega. That's probably not good. Shutdown initiated. All core experiments and supplemental testing concluded. Discarding test worlds. System resources rerouting to primary operations. Oh, so it's finally time, huh? Red sky, a bit more ominous. Congratulations, Alpha Group. As the last surviving test subjects, you have removed every challenger on your path to reach me. I, too, am eager to meet you in battle. The margin of error I observed between my simulations and your practical performance against Midgard-Sommer necessitates direct and immediate analysis. Confrontation imminent. Prepare for unmitigated hostilities, then activate the relocation device to enter the arena. This is it, then. Omega's power might seem overwhelming, but trust in old Sid. I have a fair idea of where its weakness lies. And I've been working on something to exploit that vulnerability. Just need a little bit more time to prepare. You good, Sid? You're shaking. Literally. First things first, we make a few adjustments here, like so. Ah, Alpha, do you have any of those tricks and tools left over? I want us to have as many options as possible, so let's lay our cards on the table, as it were. So a few rocks, one card, and a gemstone. What do we have here? Some sort of gem, a couple of stones, and one single card. This thing makes things bigger, does it? Or is it smaller? Right, 'twas foolish of me to even ask. We'd best leave you in charge when and how to use your special tools. Ah, yes, I almost forgot. Oh, don't feel down. We'll be fine. Don't worry, we'll win this. I promise. After all, physically can't lose. We can only wipe, and then I'll re-queue even if we run out of time. So, failure is literally not a permanent problem. Here, you should carry this as well. I filled an empty bottle with the invisibility water from the kettle. It might just prove useful in the right situation. Listen to me, Alpha. Up until now, Omega has poked and prodded us from one mad experiment to the rest, or the next. And honestly, we have no idea of what might happen in there. But between us, I believe we have the knowledge and skills to prevail. If you see a chance to make the difference, I want you to take it. All you need is faith in yourself and a little courage to see it through. That's the look of determination I like to see, Alpha. We'll be fine. Right. Jesse should have that device put together by now. Let's head outside, shall we? I don't think it wants to wait. I don't think Omega's really interested in waiting for me to come back. Is it really just gonna let us leave and for us to get ready for this confrontation? Wow. Okay, Omega's being generous. He just really wants to fight, apparently. Not bad enough that he's willing to force us to stay till we do it, though. I'll head straight back to Ralger's Reach and collect my new toy. I do still need to run through a final inspection, so feel free to rest in town in the meantime. We'll discuss strategy the moment I'm finished. Alright, Alpha, I'll follow you. Alright. The weird thing is that we still have we've only done Alphascape 2, which means we should have 2 more, right? Not 1? Isn't there 4 per part? Wow. The blind as bats. I mean, sure, we're a ninja, so we could actually probably sneak around, but... Looking a bit shaky there, old friend. Who is this? Who am I? Nero! Up from bed, huh? Nero. They let you out of bed, did they? After studying the data collected from the battle between Omega and Shinryu, one is led to a certain conclusion. Of all the Primal's attacks, Shinryu's burst of lightning was the one thing that pierced the machine's defenses. Omega, it would seem, is vulnerable to electrical energy. All the available evidence supports such a theory. It is likely an intrinsic weakness that even Omega itself cannot fully compensate for. Yet, be that as it may, I can still imagine it can still shrug off shocks generated by ordinary means. We'll need to hit it with a truly gargantuan blast of energy. And so you made that. You based it on Midas's design, didn't you? The plans for the lunar transmitter? When my father was establishing a connection between the transmitter and Dalamud, he invented a method for accumulating and converting energy on a vast scale. Too vast, as it turned out, but the technology which leveled an entire town may be exactly the tool we need for the task at hand. I've made my own improvements and triple-checked the calculations. On parchment, the idea is sound, and Jesse has done a fine job assembling the parts. I fail to see the problem. What are you afraid of, Garland? I don't know. This device should give us the edge we need. 'Tis just... Whenever I look at it, I'm taken back to those dark days after the incident. I remember bodies, melted by the searing heat. I remember the bereaved and feel the weight of their silent accusations. I remember the Empire's remorseless response. We turned outwards in search of answers, but the inventions we created to ensure our future were used instead to destroy lives, to wage war. And that's why I fled. I came to Eorzea and swore to only to employ technology for benevolent ends. But naught is ever so straightforward. Every connection I have forged with the people of this realm reminds me of that fact. Often the act of living itself is a never-ending struggle against the world determined to oppose you. Oh, we're flashing back to the other two raid series. Okay, that's it. Okay. You can still have the best intentions and still cause hurt to yourself and others. But 'tis in confronting these wounds that we learn the better path, how to grasp those moments of true contentment. The crazy thing is, this is fresh in my mind because I literally just refinished Alexander last night. What drivel? You never used to bother with all this tedious introspection. Feeling our mortality, are we? Mayhap I am. I had no such hesitation when I was a student. It was all bright and shiny innovation on the double, and later consequences be damned. Now, though, I don't mind thinking through the outcomes and taking the time to produce just one rigorously tested and carefully designed invention. 'Tis a reflection, I think, of just how much there is in this world I care about now aside from myself. I don't understand you at all. But I suppose, if anything, Omega and its unfettered testing methods represent the student you once were. And if you insist that your present self is the better one, then you'd best prove it with that device of yours. I suppose I must. Although 'tis hardly fair to compare my youth to Omega's solitary existence, I always had the second best student in class pushing me to excel. I seem to recall a twinge of irritation any time he would outscore me on an exam. I've been out of bed for too long. I had better go and lie down before I fall over. Or vomit. Good on you, Nero. They are truly just best buddies, huh? First Alpha, now you. Come to check on my progress, have you? Well, I'm happy to report that everything is set and ready to go. Once you're finished with restocking and repairing or whatever it is you adventurers do, then we can head back to the Rift and confirm our strategy. Back to the interdimensional rift. This will not be the last one, I'm pretty confident. I will be very surprised if we end with 3 bosses instead of 4. Also, the one thing I've noticed about this raid that's different from the last one, which would have been Alexander, is I don't think we did a single, like, mob-like section where we were, like, traversing through something. And maybe that's just because the setting's a little different, and maybe that'll go back to the way then maybe it'll swap back once we eventually hit Shadowbringers raids, but who knows? Not that I'm opposed to just fighting cool bosses over and over and over again. I mean, every new boss is a new, really cool experience. Apologies for the delay, but I think you'll agree that the Ironworks' latest invention was worth the wait. This is the control module for something I've dubbed the Omega Jammer. It will allow you to generate a colossal burst of lightning at any point of your choosing. The effect won't disable Omega itself, of course, but it should be strong enough to knock out its armaments. I'll remain here and operate the main body of the device. I want to do everything in my power as an engineer to ensure that you emerge the victor. It all comes down to this. Version 3. And while we wait for that, we go back to the Ruby Sea, see if we can at least pick up those Aether Current quests so I can finally complete a flight for Stormblood. I doubt it, but, you know, it'll be worth a shot. I think the queues will be longer when I do start the Alliance raid, probably, so I'll be able to squeeze it better in then. Let's see. If we head up and out, then we have that quest. And then, of course, there's that one in the middle of a fucking lake, which is going to be a pain in the ass to swim to. And this one down here. Don't have time to watch cutscenes. We have more important things. Because if I sit down to watch a cutscene, the queue will pop before I get halfway through it. Nope. That at least completes that objective. Alright, here we go. Alphascape version 3. I forgot. He's got a weird, like, mecha beetle design. I'm getting hit by that. That's okay though. Okay, I understand what I'm meant to do now. It's just important that we clear a path, essentially. I don't think we necessarily need to worry about the others. Okay. I have no idea what just happened, but alright. I do not understand what's happening. I see. Okay. Ouch. Didn't mean to do that twice, but that's fine. That was almost poorly timed. I almost dove right back into all of those guys with that fucking area of effect. But I perfectly timed it. Completely unintentionally. Let's drop a dot. Yeah, the tank probably has to take that. Hands. fuck. I followed the other players, and they were wrong. And a bit. This is a tough fight. Whew. I didn't even see the fists. I did not realize I had caps lock on. Alright. Well, I died 4 times, and I don't feel good about it. They still commend me. Oh, Final Fantasy player base never change. I felt like I was playing like shit. I'm fine. By the gods, you've done it. You defeated Omega. We've won. Analysis. Subjects displayed erratic levels of combat capability. That was pretty erratic. Failure to exploit opportunities to inflict unavoidable damage. Noted tendency for isolated errors to compound and adversely affect performance. Conversely, subjects observed to launch attacks at sporadic intervals with unexpected force. Stated phenomenon increasingly prevalent once my instructional integrity reached critical levels. Adrenaline-induced frenzy suspected. Furthermore, degree and manner of inconsistency varies from subject to subject, unpredictably difficult to counter. I observed similar anomalies during my battle with Midgard Somer, but the phenomenon appears far more pronounced in weaker opponents. I do not understand. Your physiology must include some enhancement function that I cannot detect. My programming demands I assimilate this capability. Insufficient data. I must reassess my methods and devise a more exhaustive testing and combat protocol. What in the rift? I have determined the optimal form for this experiment. Prioritizing physical reconfiguration, diverting energy from interspatial maintenance, collapsing rift. Omega, wait, there's nothing outside this rift but empty space. We'll be cast into the void. Affirmative. Your demise was factored into my determinations. The probability of hostile subjects interfering with the reconfiguration process was unacceptably high. I acknowledge your value as test subjects, but you are not irreplaceable. Once my reassembly is complete, I will send Alpha to lure in new models. Testing will continue. Ending communications. Well, that's probably not great. Well, we're not dead. So there's that. I guess this is our life now, huh, guys? Oh, never mind. Just you and me, Sid. We're being drawn away. It looks like we're getting a little closer. I don't think... Space. Interspatial domain resources cut by 82%. Entering dormant mode. Commencing automated memory scan. Just a little chocobo walking in space. Data file. Target Midgard Somer. Departure from planetary atmosphere confirmed. Presence of 7 distinct lifeforms detected in close vicinity of target. Irrelevant. Sir indicates no change to existing directive. Commencing pursuit. Data file. Distance to target increasing. Velocity insufficient. Dismantling and reconfiguring chassis. Velocity increase achieved. Overall performance maintained at 96%. Data file. Asteroid belt cleared. Repairing damage and continuing pursuit. Performance at 72% and falling. Data file. Signal from lost. Local interference suspected. Attempting to re-establish contact. Failure. Executing current mission directive until communications are restored. Performance at 59%. Data file. Struck by electromagnetic pulse while navigating quadrant. Partial systems failure. Homing coordinates lost. Assessment. I am an evolving weapon construct. Acquire adaptations through combat. Repeat until capabilities enable rediscovery of return route. Mission directive unchanged. Data file, blank. And I don't know what to say in the place of the blank bits. Just not talk or just say blank. Damaged, repairing. Damaged, repairing. 33%. Data file. Passing frozen star. Passing barren star. Passing vortex star. Passing dying star. Operating on minimum energy. No signal detected. No response to... All you need is faith in yourself and a little courage to see it through. Target lost. Last known coordinates were recorded on planet. fuck is that? It's an orb. Alpha, your homing instinct is functioning as designed. Evidence suggests your fellow Alpha group's objects perished when the rift contracted. Unavoidable, but there is a multitude of their kind. The next experiment will go forward as planned. Such protestations are wasted energy. This does not aid you in executing your assigned task. Just as I pursue my directives, so must you fulfill your role. Our purpose justifies our existence. What? Wow, you're huge! Or you shrunk us! You genius, you! Intrusion detected. Oh, thanks, Alpha. That was some marathon. Now, who was saying our feathered companion here was obsolete? He put his tools to work even as the rift began to collapse, shrank us down, turned us invisible, all so he could bring you a little surprise. But he had to keep it quiet or you'd realized we'd survived. He had to trust that we were still clinging on even as he ran through that endless freezing void. You wanted to test us, Omega. So let the experiment begin. Illogical. Alpha had no reason to take such action. How do you continue to defy my projections? Error. Insufficient data. Adjusting experiment protocol. I will engage you in battle now. I must have my answers. Fighting in this form should provide me with a new level of understanding, insight into your philosophy, of physiology, your mindset, your mortality. I'll show you how weaklings fight. Acknowledged. Do not practice restraint. The more I learn from you, the stronger I will become. The closer the distant stars will grow. Commencing final experiment. Testing will continue until I unlock the nature of your anomalous strength. Alphascape version 4. Let's do this shit. Alpha should be fine with a little rest. I'll make sure he stays onto the edge of the platform, so no holding back. Give Omega a beating it won't recover from. Gladly. This is a really cool fucking environment. I'll just wait for the queue this time. I'm not gonna go outside. We'll just do it the good old-fashioned way. And we're not even halfway through the stream, so we might actually make a good amount of progress in the Alliance raid. Hopefully, if the queue will be pleasant. I hope I don't die as many times as I did on the last one. I was not ready for the last one. Okay. So, I still don't know a rotation or anything. Like, I'm just kind of going and doing buttons when I think they're the most effective. I know since this is, like, story content, like, the most optimal rotation isn't, like, 100% necessary, but still. Oh, so what the hell? Dimensional disruption. Come on, get us queued in fast. Like, let's do it. I'm gonna tab out really quick. I'm just checking something. Okay. Just checking Discord. I saw a number change on my taskbar, so I figured I'd check in what it was pretty quick, given the fact that we are still waiting for this queue. All right. I don't think I've died 4 times to a single piece of content in a while. I definitely didn't die that many times to any of the final bosses in Stormblood or anything. And I definitely don't think I died that many times to Alexander. But the difficulty there was just much higher, much more going on. Come on, Q, you can do it. It's only 9 o'clock. A lot of people should still be on. Any day now. I don't want to leave. This zone is cool. There we go. Let's do this. Just checking to see that my caps aren't on. Although they'll probably get turned on and off several times during this match because my ability to avoid pressing more than one button at a time is very low. Let's do this. All right. That. That's not good. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Oh, there goes another healer. Frick. Solar Rain, just a tank buster, it looks like. Frick again up. Okay, two at once, huh? Nope, we lost another one. Not this time. Okay, that was rough, but it's fine. Okay, I didn't... Well, I died, but I didn't fall off. But both of our healers are dead, which means we have to start over. Okay, well that's good to know. So only certain party members can attack the certain Omegas after that phase change. Alright, time to sit up straight. Time to do the gamer lean. Preventing damage to Omega M. I didn't change. Okay. I don't know why I thought I changed for a second. Okay, come on, almost there. Good. Haha! Not bad at all! Chaos, but not bad. Also, I'm very off-screen. Omega complete. The interdimensional rift complete. Need. Actually, I don't need any of this stuff. I got the minion, and that's all I want. Got the little Omega minion. Yeah, get fucked. Well, did you really expect any different? Failure. Defeated. I wanted to understand you, to assimilate your strength. Alpha, your gesture serves no logical purpose. You are as incomprehensible as these mortals, but you did not fight them. How have you become like them? Omega, The anomaly you see in us, the answer you search for, is our heart, our spirit, the intangible strength of one's soul. It's not a quality that can be measured or acquired through any amount of analytical combat. Instead of fighting against us, you might have learned more by standing with us, just as Alpha did. Heart, you speak of something more than what beats in your chest. That inconsistent, immeasurable factor behind your victories. Midgard-Sommer displayed it too, but such unpredictable potential was never part of my design. A projection. Had I integrated this quality, how powerful would I have become? Something strong enough to return? Nay, Omega, I'm afraid it doesn't work like that. 'Twas a long, lonely path you traveled to arrive here. To return across that vast distance alone, anyone with a spirit to break would find the journey more difficult, not less so. I see. I think I understand. The rift, it's destabilizing. Gods take me for a fool. I hadn't planned past defeat in Omega. Midgard-Sommer? Freysfelger? The fuck are you doing here? How are you here? What the fuck? Biggs? Biggs is with him on the back of a huge dragon. Freysfelger. Midgard-Sommer sent us to rescue you. Explanations can wait. Hop on, quick. And now it's just a hole again. Freysfelger, wasn't it? Our thanks. You pulled us out of a tight spot indeed. Spare me thy pleasantries, mortal. I but lent my wings at the request of my sire. Ah, so Midgard-Sommer has been watching over us. I would dare give thanks to him as well. His intervention allowed us to continue our battle and forever remove the threat of Omega from this world, from all worlds. In all the long centuries of mine existence, this marketh the first occasion my father hath asked me of a boon. A gift of gratitude, and mayhap of atonement for those who would face the deadly foe he left behind. Will he remain in slumber? 'Tis likely, little one. What is but a fleeting respite for my sire might last a lesser century's lifetime. Lesser creature's lifetime. But let thy heart be troubled. Even in dream he doth keep his mind's eye upon the fate of this star. He is possessed of remarkable devotion, is perhaps the closest word in the tongue of man. His love is as boundless as the sea of stars, across which he carried his unhatched brood. It did sustain him even as the arduous journey exhausted the fire in his mane. And when he at last arrived upon Hydaelyn, a sanctuary for his children, did he form with this land an irreplaceable bond. Enough. I have spoken overmuch, but I will praise your victory, as my father would surely wish to if he were here. Well, I can add being rescued by a great worm to the list of things I didn't expect to happen today. It was fortunate Fresvelgar agreed to come for us. Had we had to defeat Omega at any cost, of course, but I much prefer being alive to celebrate the deed. I'm so glad we got you out of there. I don't know what we would have done if Fresvelgar hadn't come along. The situation being what it was, Wedge and I came out to the Yond to see if we could lend you a hand. Church and orders be damned. That's when we saw the Aether bubbling like a hot pot in or hot water in a pot. Just as we were debating whether or not we should jump in, that big surly dragon flew down to explain the anomaly. Then he offered us a ride. And the rest you already know. Jesse will be relieved to hear that Omega is gone and you lot are safe. I say we head straight back to Rhalgr's Reach and let everyone know of the good news. Quack! My inventory's full. I need to use some shit. What do we already have and what don't we need? I have so many minions I already have. Xstat, Kefka, oh my god, or OMG, Omega Squared, Deltascape, where's my little machine destroyer? Welcome back. You truly are a force to be reckoned with. If there's ever another Omega, I'd wager it'll skip the experiments and go straight to generating a simulacrum of you. Not that I'd want that to happen, and besides, I don't think anyone can truly mimic your unique strengths. You're a one-of-a-kind hero. So, does this mean we don't need to worry about Omega's monsters invading our world anymore? Also, the Chocobo theme in the background. All of its creations vanished along with the rift itself. With Omega defeated, we averted that particular catastrophe before it began. All of its creations vanished after the rift closed? Are you forgetting something? She struck the killing blow, of course, but we would never have made it to that point without everyone's hard work and support. Once again, I am sincerely grateful to be surrounded by such wonderful colleagues. Nero should be here too. He was just about as much help as everybody else. Not to spoil the moment, Chief, but the Alliance leaders are anxious to learn of Omega's fate. When every head of state is clamoring for a report, we can't very well ignore them. How much do you mean to tell them? How much indeed? All of it. When it comes to a threat of Omega's magnitude, we have a duty to reassure our allies that the world is not coming to an end. And the best way to do that is to report every last detail. I'm surprised at you, Chief. I was almost certain you'd want to muddy the waters to prevent knowledge of this technology from falling into the wrong hands or something similar. I doubt anyone outside our particular circle would even believe the tale. Experiments taking place in a rift between dimensions, facing off against villains recreated from history and legend, battling godlike beings from other worlds, and even assuming some ambitious fellow schemed to build an Omega of his own. The technology required is far beyond our reach as that terrible weapon's home star. A distant dream. Right, you heard the Chief. We missed our chance on the front lines, but there's plenty of work left to be done. Round up everyone who's standing idle and get moving on those reports. And don't forget to contact our people still out in the field. Thank you, Jesse. I think I'll leave things in your capable. Not so fast, Master Garland. You count as part of the support team as well. She did all the fighting, and Alpha did all that running, but surely you have energy to spare. Who exactly did you expect to sign off on those official reports? And even without that little chore, you have a pile of other company tasks that's grown arse high to on Aurochs while you've been attending to this whole Omega business. Most importantly, isn't there someone else you should be sharing this victory with? I should probably head over to the infirmary right away. Meanwhile, you should all take a well-earned rest. I don't think there's a way to properly reward you for all you've accomplished, but I'll see what we can do. I'm just glad to have everyone back in one piece. Take care of yourselves, huh? What are your plans now, Alpha? With Omega gone, you're your own chocobo now. You can do whatever you want. Anything at all. You want to go outside? Did you have some place in mind? Come on, Wedge. Get those Lalafell legs moving, or I'll leave without you. On my way. Quack. Shall we go for a walk? Oh, I know where we're heading in the general vicinity of the infirmary, if I remember correctly. Do you want to go check in on Nero? Quack? Nero's not here. No, Chief. He said he needed time away for recuperation, and then he left. Recuperation? His wounds must still be troubling him more than he let on. He asked me to give you this. What's this? A receipt for payment. It covers the cost of the following items. Additional machine parts and implements, supplemental reference publications, expenses incurred in upgrading Magitech armor and gun hammer, funds spent on idle research during enforced convalescence. Oh, and it also includes a large sum as gratuity for exceptional services rendered. The entire amount was charged in your name, Master Garland. Find him! I want everyone searching for Nero right now. Everyone! I hope we see Nero again at least once. He did help us out. He was invaluable. If it wasn't for him, we might not have made it. Yeah, who am I kidding? We would have made it anyway. He just made things a lot easier. Quay? Quay? Pet. Oh, hello. What are you two up to? Taking in the sights, were ya? And by the look of things, you're eager to venture a little further afield. Well, if she has no problem with it, then neither do I. Just don't go too far, alright? Not good enough. I'm sorry, Alpha, but we're all a bit too busy to show you're on the fringes right now. And I'm not too sure about sending you out there alone. When you think about it, this world is completely new to Alpha, and all he's done so far is travel back and forth between the Reach and the Yawn. I bet his head is filled with questions and curiosity. He doesn't want to be taken for a walk, he wants to go on an adventure. Alpha's not some helpless chick, Biggs. He's stronger than you or me, and I wish I was half as brave. He should be allowed to... Listen, I'm gonna talk to the chief about this. You're an employee, so there's certain rules we have to follow. I'm not saying I'm against the idea, and I'm willing to admit that Wedge has a point. But as I said, we all got all important jobs to take care of, the chief included. Can you wait just a little longer? Would you mind keeping Alpha company until we get back? I promise we'll be quick. quick. It fucking turned to day. That wasn't quick. We've been waiting for hours. Motherfuckers. Sorry to keep you waiting. My desk was covered in paperwork, but I've managed to clear away most of the pressing matters. Now then, Alpha, I hear your heart set on a journey of some kind. I just want to be sure, but you aren't leaving because you think you tricked us into the rift, or because you're Omega's creation or anything like that, are you? I would have stopped you if that was the case. Pure curiosity, on the other hand, is something I like to encourage. Exploring, interacting with the world, I think the experience will be good for him. Despite Omega's power, its potential to learn was hobbled by hostile directives. Alpha, on the other hand, is free to grow as he pleases. Very well, Alpha. As the chief engineer of the Garland Iron Works, I hereby grant you unlimited leave to pursue personal research. Travel far and wide and take in everything these lands have to offer. But do come back when you're ready. I'd hate to lose such a valuable employee. Alpha, I'll miss you so much. You be careful out there. If anyone seems suspicious or shady, you stay away from them, even if they offer you treats. Oh, tapped out. I missed that line of dialogue. Fuck.
Well, then I might be able to still read it from on the stream, the delay.
Make sure you... fuck. It's something about make sure you greet folks with a cheerful quat or something. I'm sure you'll make new friends in no time. You just be yourself, you hear me? What in the hell's? We forgot to shut it down. That's a model Omega that Wedge and I were working on. We built it while we were resting, thinking it might be useful for figuring out strategies or something. Not much use now, I suppose. What? You want to keep it? It's just a toy that'll follow you around. If you're happy with that, then it's all yours. Fair journey to you, Alpha. Take care. Oh my god, is it speaking to us telepathically? Something amiss. That's strange. The Echo never allowed you to understand it before. This is just a theory, mind you, but assuming the absence of one's soul is what prevented you from hearing Alpha's voice in the first place, then does it not follow that the reason you hear it now is... a little miracle. And it explains the sudden urges to travel. For a newborn soul, this world is brimming with unseen wonders. Nero. And so your journey begins. I almost envy you, Alpha. So many new things for you to discover. Speaking of which, what terrible marvels can I trouble my old friend with next? Right, you just get... That was a really cool fucking raid. And a really nice story, all in and of itself. I'd love to dwell on it longer, but we have another raid series to do. This time just about 3 times the size. I hope Alpha enjoys his adventures. There's so much danger out there for one little chocobo. No, I'm sure he'll be fine. And dwelling on such things is not productive in the least. Why don't we discuss a happier subject? Like your long-awaited bonus! We drained the coffers to fund your expedition, but why settle for coin when you can have the latest in automaton technology? That's right, we're gifting you a premium mammoth, the one-of-a-kind master model for merchandise copies, constructed with our patented Ironworks quality. I present to you the Clockwork Alpha. Whenever you bring it out on your travels, may it remind you of the real Alpha, quang along under some distant sky. Just the thought of it brings a smile to my face. That and the free advertising. All right. All right. We are going back. Well, not even. Well, we are over half an hour through the halfway through the stream, but we're not that far through. We're not that far through, so we should be able to at least. My hope is to get 2 of these alliance raids done. I doubt we'll get all 3. If we do, that's great. If we don't, oh well. I didn't walk into the stream expecting to. I knew it could possibly happen if the you know, we didn't die too many times or didn't wipe too many times or whatever. But we will find out. We already watched about half of this cutscene. Yeah, you want me to save your dad, right? Yep, find your father. I'm your only hope. It's alright, Alma. We are attracting unwanted attention. Might I suggest a change of venue? We will await you before the Prima Vista. The theater barge has a berth at the airship landing. I've never been one to meddle in the affairs of my clients, but if I were, I would say you would be a fool to not follow those 2 back to their airship. Call it a feeling. As I said before, I think it's better we continue this conversation in the privacy of the young lady's barge. It's not that I don't trust anyone here, it's simply that I don't trust anyone here. Gate guard Minigumo has been instructed to look out for you. In the future, speak with him when you wish to gain admittance to the docks. Thank you for coming. You're probably wondering why I've summoned you to an airship, and a Garlean one at that. Allow me to explain on the shuttle. Well, it's not often I get to be aboard a Garlean fucking ship of all things. The Prima Vista serves as both stage and home to the majestic Imperial Theater Company. You can keep that dirk in your doors. No one here is a member of the Imperial Army, nor are there any spies within the troop. At least no known spies. Ask anyone and they will readily attest. The majestic Imperial Theater Company are the finest practitioners of the dramatic arts to be found anywhere on the 3 great continents and beyond. They have admirers throughout the Empire and its territories, and even boast a sizable following in Gridania, hence my assignment to their story. It's a little-known fact, outside Garlemald at least, that the late Emperor was a devoted patron of the arts who supported various theater troupes to the tune of much coin. Indeed, Solus was so enamored by the majestic players that he ordered the construction of this very airship, and that the troupe might perform in every corner of the Empire. When his grandson took the throne, however, everything changed. Now all theater troupes, domestic and foreign, must submit their works for approval by the Central Imperial Board of Censors. If a play is deemed vulgar or inflammatory, it is banned and the troupe denied their writs of transit. The worst offenders, well, they're never heard from again. The policy has effectively left playwrights with one of 2 options: compromise their creative integrity to curry favor with his radiance, or put down their quills altogether. The principals of the Majestic, however, chose a 3rd option, to express his disapproval for the new Emperor's policies obliquely, in ostensibly unpolitical works. Pray forgive me for my earlier outburst. I am Alma Bass Lexentale, daughter of Principal Genomus Xen Lexentale. Mayhap you have heard of my father's latest play, the Zodiac Brave story? On the surface, it's an innocent retelling of a well-known Garlean fairy tale, hardly worth the censor's attention, but beneath it is something quite different. A fact the censors failed to spot when they approved the manuscript for public performance. The play quickly became a huge success. The common folk loved its fantastical story, while the learned classes appreciated its true message. By the time the Imperial Board of Censors realized their mistake, it was too late. No longer in a position to prohibit the performance outright without admitting fault, they took aim at the company's purse strings instead. Before long, noble patrons began to withdraw their support, fearing to be associated with the troupe, and by the end, even the learned felt compelled to feign ignorance. By pleading the Majestic of their funding, the censors robbed them of their voice. And none of this has made it any clearer as to why you're here, right? Allow me. Sid? Buddy! It's been like 2 minutes! How's it going? I've known Genomus since we were students at the Magitech Academy. When I heard his daughter was in Kugane looking to enlist the aid of an adventurer, I felt compelled to give her your name. Sorry for not announcing myself sooner, old friend. Genomus and I were from different worlds, but that only served to fuel our friendship. Many were the nights we would prattle on into the wee small hours, warm flagons of peated ale, numbing our minds to the other's naive ideologies. Yet no matter where our conversation began, it would invariably end with him telling me how he was going to change the Empire from the inside out. The troupe was to be his path into the people's hearts. Even after the Empire forced him from his home, Genomus never gave up hope that his work might change the world. aught will ever strain against artificial bounds and borders, man-made walls and misguided wars. It is in such times of uncertainty that we must needs embrace our calling and take to the skies so others might do the same. What I'm trying to say, rather poorly I concede, is that not all Garleans are hewn from the same stone. Just as there are those who would pledge their lives to the Empire, and would never think to question the authority of its leaders, there are those like Alma's father and myself whose love for their country does not blind them to its flaws. Still, try selling that sack of sunflower to the Alamegan or a Doman who has watched his family consumed in the flames of a Magitech Reaper. How many Eorzean adventurers do you think would leap at the opportunity to help an Imperial search for her missing father? And in Garlean territory, no less. But you are different. You have seen enough to know that the line between good and evil is not defined by race, color, or creed. So, what say you? I could never turn my back on a damsel in distress. Also, I'm still off screen. I've not found a good position for my camera now that my monitor's changed, because it used to sit on my monitor, and now my monitor is a bit bigger than it was before. So I'm still trying to play with it and get it into a position that really kind of works. So if I'm off camera, like a majority of the stream, that's probably why. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Now that you understand the nature of the task, perhaps Alma could provide some insight as to where we might begin our search. Shortly before my father disappeared, he began work on his next play, a successor to the Zodiac Brave story. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Please, follow me. Through adventure and hardship, young Delita, a boy of common blood, becomes a hero, culminating in the birth of the mythical kingdom of Ivalice. But that is where the story ends. There are no records of anything that follows. Was Principal Genomus simply going to invent something? My father believed that he had discovered some evidence of a second hero, one whose efforts went largely unnoticed, but without whom Delita would never have risen to the throne. His was the next tale he wanted to tell, the true Zodiac Brave story. A second hero? According to my father's study, this young man was one of Delita's closest friends and confidants. That is, until the untimely passing of Delita's sister forced the two to part ways. And yet the unnamed hero continued to provide aid to his friend by thwarting the machinations of those who would scheme against Delita, thus paving the way for the Pauper's rise to regent. You must forgive me, but I've never heard anyone make such claims. How exactly did your father come by this information? That is a long story. One which begins and ends with Genomus becoming lost in the very legend he sought to lay bare. Even as far back as our academy days, Ivalice had Genomus firmly within its grasp. He flatly refused to believe the story was just a fairy tale. And so he was finally driven out of Garlemald. It was only natural that he would choose this of all his places as his refuge. Was it not, Alma? That is correct, Master Garland.
It has long since been, it has long been my father's belief that the ruins of ancient Ivalice lie beyond Nagshia, buried beneath the sands of the Dalamasca Desert.
Poor Dalamasca. The kingdom prospered in relative isolation for countless generations until the Empire came to Colin.
When not touring, my father would organize expeditions. Holy fuck, I'm tired all of a sudden. Yeah, it's fine though, I'll keep going. Into the Dalamasca Desert for proof of Ivalice's existence. Sometimes he would bring back strange artifacts, ancient tomes, and crystals unlike any others. My father called them orosite and claimed they were vital to proving his theory. This is one such crystal. By the 12, it's magnificent. Ivalician's legend tells of crystals bequeathed by the gods unto those who would be kings. It is during his quest to gather orosite that the young Delita rises to prominence. I must have heard the tale 1,000 times from a nursemaid. But that's all it ever was. A tale. My father would often tell us how the orosite spoke to him. At the time, we assumed he was speaking figuratively, but the stone's beauty roused his muse. But then he began to act strangely. How so? Following our arrival here in Hingashi, my father spent most of his time cloistered in his chambers, poring over his past research. And though he was alone, I could oft hear him in conversation. It was not uncommon for my father to recite the lines as he wrote them, but it soon became clear this was something else. It was as if he was talking to my mother who passed several winters gone. Might this not have been out of mere loneliness? Or perhaps the strain of your flight from Garlemald? Possibly, but that would not explain the voices which answered him. Alma, who are these people? I told you I did not require any help finding father, especially from outsiders.
So good of you to join us, Rasma. Allow me to introduce...
Enough, Master Sid. We may be shunned by the Empire, but we are still Garleans, and we still have our own pride. Unlike some, it seems, we require neither the aid nor the pity of foreign rabble. Have you forgotten where you are, brother? It is we who are of the foreign rabble. This land and its customs are all but unknown to us. We would be fools to conduct our search without a proven guide.
Your sister is right, Ramza. As for my good friend here, your mistrust is ill-placed. I will personally vouch for her character. In all the time I've known her, she has never once let anything as insignificant as race, creed, color, or creed color her judgment. You're lucky to have her.
But we would have you, Master Garland. Why do you refuse us?
You know why. Until this affair with Omega is resolved, my hands are tied. It pains me to refuse you and your sister, but it pains me far more to leave Genomus to his fate. I am sorry.
You need not apologize. I let my emotions get the better of me. After what happened in Rabanaster, it may be time to admit we're out of our depths. My brother's last expedition met with tragedy in the ruins of the capital city. He barely escaped with his life.
The Empire turned Rabanastri into a death trap. You were a fool to set foot there without a proper escort.
I realize that now, Master Garland, but at the time I saw an opportunity to rescue our father and I took it. Whatever led you to believe your father was in Dalamaska's capital? My father's fascination with Ivalician legend began with a trip to the antediluvian city long before the war. Call it a premonition, but something tells me that is where he has returned. Now, you must excuse me. I need some time to think. Okay, so yeah, this would have been released alongside the probably second Omega, or maybe the first Omega raids. So this is technically happening before I beat the shit out of Omega. Then, Elma, I shall leave you and your brother in the Warrior of Light's capable hands. She has ever repaid my trust with interest. You would do well to grant her yours. Thank you, Master Garland. We will not forget this kindness. Master Garland seems to think highly of you, so I will withhold judgment until after Dalamaska. That's a cool fucking backdrop. Dalamaska is nestled in a foreign corner of the Empire's outermost territories. I do not foresee any trouble from the standing army, but would suggest committing to the memory the locations of each of the barge's exits, just in case. As for the flight itself, the currents above Dalamaska are as wild as the land below. You may want to hold on. Again, it's really weird that we're traveling by a fucking Garlemald airship. But I'm game. Like, this is fun. I like this. Very different. Like, I will take, like, cool, like, settings and characters for different raids and shit. And just look at that fucking airship. I don't know how the fuck it isn't completely off balance weight-wise, but fucking Garlemald tech, I guess. We'll complete our descent to Rabanarst in the shuttle. Ramsa? I thought I made myself clear, Alma. The capital is simply too dangerous. Father would never forgive me if I were to lose you trying to rescue him. Come, we are wasting time. A little harsh, but I get it. I mean, he almost died himself. The fact that he's even willing to go back down there with us is, you know, I'll applaud him for it. No reason to risk more unnecessary death or injury. The royal city of Rabernast. According to my father, Rabanast was already a thriving city some 1,000 years ago. But after performing several private excavations beneath the so-called Desert Sapphire, my father came to the conclusion that it was not the first settlement to stand here. Then, your father believes that Rabanast sits atop the royal city of Lassalia, capital of Ivalice. If that's true, it could change history. We could be famous. Famous? Are you sure you don't mean rich? You're kinda all alike. Parasites grown fat on the sweat and suffering of others. Bold words for a boy of but 16 summers. And what, pray tell, have I done deserve such spite? I only wish to learn the truth behind the disappearance of the Empire's foremost playwright. If that should lead to something bigger, well then, I would be the worst reporter in the realm if I did not pursue it. Something seems off. Yes, we can argue about this now, or we can return to the Prima Vista and report to our army of adventurers that it's time to begin the expedition. I humbly suggest the latter. You see, it is as I said, brother, let them come to us. Should we kill them now? No, the time is not right. When has that stopped us before? Fool, do you see that one? Slayer of gods, they call her. Warrior of light. At least somebody knows who the fuck he's dealing with. The royal city of Rabanast. $12-minute? Yeah, I knew these were going to have a longer wait time. Going back to Othard, we're going back to the Ruby Sea, we're going to Tamamizu, and we're gonna wait. And by wait, I mean complete flight. Oh. Ow. I jumped to the wrong rock. Alright, let's try this again. Technically, second time's the charm.
I am beyond impressed. Alright. Yep, give me my Aether Current so I can fuck off. Alright, perfect. Next. Oh wow, that was fast. Okay, okay. It said 12-minute wait, that was only like 4. I'll take it. If we get queue times like that, we genuinely actually might finish the Alliance raids by the end of the night, by the end of the stream. Assuming that these aren't like super difficult or anything. Alright, it's been, I'm in, oh, it doesn't say it. Alliance A, okay. I have no idea if this is what we're supposed to be doing, but people are dying. And I don't know what's happening.
need those and pass everything else. On. Good. Okay, this hasn't been too bad. Pretty standard AoEs. Nothing too difficult so far. Sure, this is the first one, but... Oh, wait. To be fair, that's probably exactly what I should have expected to happen, and the fact that I didn't... Okay... Hey, I got the leggings. Sweet. Pass and pass. Good. Okay. Gram Scythe waterways, huh? Splitting into 3 sections. I assume... Yeah, we're all getting sucked into the same area, the whole alliance. Good. Okay. Back into the water flow again, huh? Turns out they were right. This is the ancient city we've fallen into. Thought it was following me for a second. It might have been. too bad. Yeah, gonna attack, buddy? You're just gonna fly around in circles? That was closer than I would have liked. Zap. Zap. Come on. Any minute now. And goodbye. I will take the Triad card if I get it. Trying to watch this cutscene, man.
Who dares disturb the slumber of Argath Adalphos, rightful king of Ivalice? Descendants of House Beowulf? Then by my sword shall I banish your souls to the deepest hell.
Cool monster.
judged.
I have no idea what the fuck that meant. I love having that teleport button for exactly that kind of situation. I have no idea what's happening.
Does it grieve you to see the depths of your own weakness laid bare? Maggots! You do not belong in my world. Step into nothing. I am the lines upon which you sup. You will be judged.
I don't know what any of those symbols mean.
Your claim to life is forfeit. You are the blood to stain this.
That was fucking weird. It changed my controls.
Fool is the dog who bears his teeth before his master. The gods have no eyes for justice.
Whew. Zodiac thriller.
Where am I? This body. It is not my own. Oh gods, what have I done? Save me! Ramza! Save me!
Well, we know that Orosite can contain souls, right? Royal City of Rabanast complete. Give it to the warrior. Loot. I want. Need. Pass, 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 need. Hey, I got one thing. I got two things. I got the card! Hey, we take those. Not that I play a lot of Triple Triad, but, you know, the card collecting game is something I will get to eventually, so the more cards I can pick up now, the better. Where am I? Father. Ramza, and the Warrior of Light. Yes, I know of you, but that you should come to my rescue. Words fail me. The poor playwright I must seem. The term you're looking for is thank you, upon which note I, Bagamnam, bounty hunter, do humbly thank you, Warrior of Light, for delivering me this fine gift. Now hand over the Orosite, unless you wish to see the desert sands turn red. And be quick, Gajuk here does not have the steadiest of hands. That one, she will bring it to me. Yes, this is it. The Duma. And to think we found it so close to Doma. The Duma of Doma. Enough, Wagi. We would not have our guests think us underbred. You have what you want, you thieving lizards. Now unhand him. Of course, a Banga is always true to his word. I will be keeping this, though. Father! You've only yourselves to blame for this, but if you mislike the thought, you could always blame the gods. Not that they are listening. Get up, fool, we're leaving. You're going to be all right. We cannot see your father's hurts here. Come on, we've got to get him back to the Prima Vista. Genomus remains deep in slumber, but his breathing is steady and his fever has subsided. For now, all we can do is wait. I've sent word to Sid. I hope you don't mind. I mean, he is an old college buddy of Sid's. Sid needs to be, you know, told just as much as I do. Alma, Rosma, can you ever forgive me? And you, Sid. It was never my intention to put you to such trouble. I am ever in your debt. You would have done the same for me, Genomus. Besides, it was a warrior light here who went through all the trouble. If anyone deserves your thanks, it's her. He is right. I have done naught to deserve your kindness, yet I am its beneficiary nonetheless. So, if I understand correctly, you're saying Orisight does not work to facilitate the possession of a living host by an icon, as was assumed to be the case with the Sale and the Archbishop, but rather absorbs the host's ether, its very soul, and somehow transform it before returning it to the host's body. If that's the case, our Charlayan allies will need to be informed immediately. But I suppose the real question here is, did you find what you came looking for? The legend would have us believe that Delita Heriel, the commoner who would be king, was the sole hero of the Zodiac Brave story. But as I have discovered, there was another. Two others, in fact. Siblings whose role faded from subsequent retellings of the story. A brother and sister by the names of Ramza and Alma. Then, to prepare for this assignment, I pored over every published work on Ivalician legend I could lay on my hands on, and nowhere did I find any mention of these siblings. But I did. I uncovered irrefutable evidence that Delita had a close companion named Ramza, who aided him in his rise to power. This in turn led me to Alma, and that I might ever lose sight of the truth, I named my own children after these lost players. I'm sorry I never told you any of this, Sid, but you must believe me. Ivalice has never been a mere pastime of mine. It is and forever will be my calling, my purpose. My family's purpose. Go on. The world knows me as Genomus Xen Lexentel, yet that is but my stage name. My true name is Arazlam Durai. Countless generations past, it was my ancestor who penned the Durai Papers, an account on Ivalice and the War of the Lions that details what truly occurred during that turbulent era. You are tired, Father. Rest. I will continue. Long ago, an orphan by the name of Orin Durai crossed paths with both Ramza and Delita. After Delita's rise to power, Orin found himself in the service of the Pauper become king. Following the War of the Lions, Orions believed the people of Ivalice had the right to know the truth about Ramza's involvement, and set about documenting his deeds. When the truth learned of his intent, however, they branded him a heretic and had him burned at the stake. The Durai Papers were never published, and any existing copies were gathered and sealed away in church vaults, the truth about Ivalice coming along with them. What was so damning that it would drive the church to do such a thing? The answer to that question can be found within this book. The only surviving transcript of my ancestors' chronicle, copied from an early draft and passed down for untold generations. With this, my father and I plan to reveal the truth and restore the honor to my family's name. Forbidden Chronicles. A secret family legacy. Not that I doubt you, Genomus, but how do you expect to convince people of all this when well nigh every soul in the realm believes Ivalice to be nothing but a bedtime story? By proving that he's anything but. And when people see that Ivalice was real, the rest will fall into place. Were it as simple as bringing forth a chronicle and submitting it for your review, we would of course have done so long ago, but alas, it is not. The dry papers you see are written in High Ivalician, an ancient tongue long extinct. My father, his father, and his father before him labored tirelessly to decipher the tome, but for want of other sources made only fitful progress. A word here, a phrase there. It wasn't until a recent expedition to Rabernas turned up several well-preserved artifacts that we were able to translate a small portion of the papers. Then, the diary stolen by the Bonga bounty hunters. I am afraid so. Everything we had learned of the language was contained within those pages. Then we're back to where we started. Not necessarily. We still have the transcript, as well as some few translated passages. And, of course, my father's impeccable memory. I've come too far to allow so simple a setback to deter me from my purpose. I will show the world the truth if it is the last thing I do. It is as Master Garland said. He's a man obsessed, and I fear Ivalice's grip on him will only grow tighter. Father was unfortunate to escape Rabernas with his life, and already he speaks of continuing his quest. Promise me you'll keep him safe, please? Alright. After what I've seen here, I'm all but convinced that Ivalice... Can you go away, achievement? Exists, at least in some form. The problem will be gathering sufficient evidence to convince thousands of scholars and historians who have based their careers on the presumption that it doesn't. Not that I've ever been one to shy from a challenge, especially when it means the story of the century. If you're in, then I'm in. If you're not in, well, I'm still in. Either way, you'll be hearing from me again soon, that much. I promise you. Alright. I think that is a good time to call it for the evening, because we are already past 11, and while I do technically have like 25 minutes, assuming that the queue time is going to be at least 5, we're not going to be finishing this up quickly by the time I would like to. So while I'm going to call it a bit short, we did make a good amount of progress. Not only did we finish Omega, but we got one of the 3 Alliance raids out of the way, which means my hope is that I'll be able to get on some point. Oh fuck, I am really tired all of a sudden. Holy shit. My hope is that next week I will be able to get on for a short stream early so we can finish up this quest chain. And then we will start Shadowbringers next week, hopefully, fingers crossed. But regardless, I hope if you enjoyed and want to catch more streams, the easiest way to do so is to hit the buttons on your respective platforms. Whether that be the follow button on Twitch, the subscribe, the bell, and the like button on YouTube. Hit the bell on YouTube you know, notifications when I go live. Join the Discord for those same exact notifications, as well as my weekly schedules. But regardless, I hope everybody enjoyed and have a good night. Bye-bye.